What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on either Twitch. You might be watching on YouTube, wherever you are. Thank you for watching. I am joined with my beautiful co-host, who has a hot dinner date tonight that he's got to get to, so we're doing the show a little bit earlier than usual. I am with Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Nobody has to know who the dinner date is with, Dave. It could be with anyone. Sure. Could be with yourself. Who knows? Could be with me. Oh. Could be a Zoom dinner date with me that I'm talking about. Nobody knows.
Ricky in 9 months. Probably won't see Ricky. No.
I saw you in person, and I was blown away with how the hair looks different.
You were an Uber driver.
I was. Uber Eats, basically. Yeah.
Uber Eats. Yeah.
By the way, people, the hair looks very different in person compared to looking at Dave over a screen.
Got a lot of length to it.
It's got a lot more volume than it looks like when you got headphones on, which is weird. But we're back to talk about sports.
Not a good look, Dave, but you do you.
No. It's not like weird bad. It's weird not used to. Yeah, that's what it is. Because you've always been you've always been short hair for as long as I've known you.
That's true.
Like Dave's always had it. Also, by the way, in one of the watch-alongs, we were watching old videos, and the watch-along agrees that your face has not changed.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much the same.
We agreed that your face has not changed. Mine has just gotten hairier and pudgier. Like pudgier in the cheeks and neck area.
What's weird is, I saw the video clips that you guys had posted, and your face is the same size, but the rest of your body just kind of grows around it almost. It's bad to say, but
it's like JD was like, shit.
Had a big face.
JD's
already.
like, how young were you there? I was like 22. That was when we fucking first started, 22. Because I was talking about the Dave being illuminated by the screens of
that was my only source of
his
light.
Basement, playing World of Warcraft that night too. I pulled you away from WoW.
Probably did.
But we've got football, basketball on the docket today. Before we get into everything, though, quick housekeeping. If you're not in the Discord, you're behind the 8 ball. It's the greatest community on the internet, the best of conversations going on each and every day. Join it right now. Link either down below if you're on YouTube, ! Discord, and the Twitch chat. Get you that link if you want to support us. Check out patreon.com/MVP vids. Link down below or ! Patreon. Thank you. We got to say thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. And then we're on Twitch, like I said, every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP vids. We're on YouTube as well, MVP Sports. So go ahead, follow, sub, do all that stuff so you're always in tune with what's going on with us here at MVP. But Dave, the first thing we're looking into, we're going to get the football out of the way first.
Yep.
We have some NFL draft stuff, and this was Todd McShay put out today at 6:15 in the morning Central Time his newest rankings for the 2021 draft. And I'm just going to read down the top 10. He has Trevor Lawrence at 1, Penny Sewell, offensive tackle, at 2, Micah Parsons from Penn State at 3, Devonta Smith, wide receiver, at 4, Jamar Chase, wide receiver, at 5, so a flip there from what we've seen.
Did a little bit boof.
Little flip. Kyle Pitts, who we've talked about, tight end out of Florida. He's at 6. Patrick Surtain on Alabama, the cornerback, at 7. Here's the big one. Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU, at 8, because Justin Fields is at number 9.
Wow.
9. And then number 10, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. The thing the snippet that he said on Wilson, what a rise for Wilson. Now my number 2 quarterback in the class. He navigated his Cougars to an 11-1 record by completing 73.5% of his passes for 3,692 yards, 3rd in the country, 33 touchdowns, 2nd in the country, and only 3 interceptions. If that weren't impressive enough, Wilson also has rushed for 10 touchdowns. He threw for 425 yards and 3 scores in the roofclaim.com, BoatCon, Ratton, whatever the fuck you want to call it, bowl. He didn't, Todd McShay didn't say that. I did. Some people may think, holy shit, Todd McShay swore. And now he has a decision to make about the draft. I love Wilson's competitiveness and toughness in the pocket, and he has a high-end ability to extend plays. His deep ball accuracy is outstanding. Dave, is Zach Wilson truly the number 2 quarterback in this draft? Is he past Justin Fields and should be treated as such?
So here's the thing. Like, I feel like this season just started off with the idea that, hey, it's Trevor Lawrence and everybody else. And Fields kind of, again, we only got to see a handful of games this season from him, but it still was he was the incumbent. He was the guy who we all expected to be there at the end of the year. Did he do anything to really wow us or change our point of view on him? I don't think he really did. I don't think he had an amazing season. I don't think, he had a worse season than last year. It's like he took a step backwards, I think, in most people's eyes. So I think it's deserving that if Zach had an excellent season, he did. He's got great size, great athleticism, makes good throws. Like, I don't see any issue with jumping over Fields. I think Fields was just the guy who's been the number 2. He's been the placeholder for this whole time because of how great of a sophomore season he had. And the problem is when you have such a great sophomore season, sometimes that junior year is going to let people down. And it's no fault of his, maybe. Obviously the circumstances of this year were not ideal for anyone. So who knows what he was going through. Obviously that Ohio State team had to deal with a lot as well. The health of the guys on the roster, who knows about his family and all that outside the world of football stuff affecting him. So, like, there's a lot that can be kind of given as an excuse or a reason why his performance wasn't as good. But at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. The eye test tells me he has not progressed. I don't know that I would say he regressed. I think that maybe he just had a standout breakout kind of year, sophomore year, and people got a little bit of tape on him in conference, and that's what it was. But I have no problem with Zach Wilson jumping him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is every time. I've said it before. I'm saying it again.
Okay.
This draft class, when it comes to the quarterbacks, is starting to mirror the 2018 class. With just, like, I want to say with less guys, but maybe I say with less guys because there wasn't 5 guys from the start. Like, that class, it was Sam, Josh, the 2 Joshes, Baker, and Lamar right from the start. We knew all 5 of them coming in, where this season was, hey, Trey Lance is going to play 1 game. He's kind of been forgotten. Trevor Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence. Justin Fields are the 2 tops. Wilson, and I'd say Wilson and Trask kind of came out of nowhere. Even Mac Jones kind of came out of nowhere. But, like, I look at Wilson, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. He reminds me of, like, his rise reminds me of Josh Allen's, because I pulled up just for shits and giggles Todd McShay's final rankings for the 2018 draft, and how he had the quarterbacks were Sam Darnold was the number 1 quarterback with a 94 rating, number 4th overall. He had Josh Rosen at 9, second quarterback at 92. Josh Allen was at 10, 92. Baker Mayfield was at 11, 91. However, there's no comparison for Justin Fields. Like, Trevor Lawrence is the Sam Darnold of that draft, where Darnold...
No, it's further.
No, yeah, but I'm saying, like, he's been number 1 from the start. Oh, okay. He's not going to change. Like, in that class, everyone thought coming in, Darnold's number 1. Darnold should be number 1 in the quarterback rankings. There's no touching it. When you go to rankings, not draft, because draft changes. I'm, like, big board style.
Yeah, okay.
It was Josh Allen who was rising. Rosen had questions, but also Baker Mayfield. Like, no one wanted to fall in love with Baker Mayfield when it came to the other quarterbacks. Like, it was either you liked Baker and had him 2, you liked Baker more than Josh Rosen, but you had Josh Allen at 2, or you liked Josh Rosen and you didn't like Josh Allen and Baker was in the middle, or you were like Todd McShay and had Baker at number 4 behind the 2 Joshes, where Justin Fields, and Todd McShay even brings this up, there's really 2 games that kind of stuck out for his career or his season this year. The Indiana game, because they kind of exposed him. He only had 18 completions in that game through 3 interceptions. The Buckeyes barely escaped that game with a win. There was almost a chance, too, that they would have played a second time if Ohio, some opponent they were going to play. If they couldn't play and Purdue couldn't play, they would match up again. Didn't happen. And then the Big Ten championship game, he did not look his best. And maybe that's more of a recency bias thing, because there was a little bit of a thumb issue that he had in that game. Not completely broken, but there was a little thumb issue.
But I do agree. I mean, the recency of your last game was your worst game definitely does not help the image during the draft process. And I think it will take a lot of in-house workout kind of stuff to try to reclaim whatever momentum he previously had, show them that he's still the guy.
Well, and Wilson's done. Wilson's played his last game. His last game was really good. Like Todd McShay wrote about it. His bowl game was something to be like, hey, look at that. That was good. Fields has one more game, Dave. I think it's this Friday, maybe more. But the thing is, he is going up against the number. It's basically number 1 versus number 2 for the longest time. And I kind of have a feeling that if he looks bad against Clemson and Trevor Lawrence looks as good as he has been, some people may go and some people may question Fields more and say, should he really be the number 2 quarterback off the board? Or should Zach Wilson be the guy that you look for? Because out of if Fields is going to drop, Wilson's going to be the one that rise. It's not going to be Kyle Trask that takes over number 2.
Yeah, it'd be unexpected. But yeah, no, like that, it's tough because you're right. There is basically the game with the second most important game of the year for them.
Yeah.
Perhaps most important if they lose it, obviously. But it all comes down to this, and it is a showcase of the best quarterbacks, perhaps, of this class. So it could mean everything, and if he fucks it up, his absolute balance will just toilet. He will not be. He won't be picked number 2. He won't be picked 3. He won't be picked 4. You are going to tumble down that draft for quite a bit at that point. So, but on the upside, if there's one defense that you could beat in college that would impress scouts, would impress front offices, is it not Clemson?
The only one that I would like. So Clemson's one where everyone touted Ian Book and Notre Dame after they beat Clemson. Oh, they must be the best team in the ACC. Look what they were able to do against that Clemson defense. Now there was a part of us, I feel like you and I were in that same camp. I know I was let's see what happens when Trevor Lawrence is out there.
And they had a couple guys on defense too.
Yeah. But Trevor Lawrence was phenomenal. The defense, that was the thing that spoke to me of in that game against Notre Dame, it looked like that defense was yeah, we're going to play with a chip on our shoulder.
And what a chip it was.
We're going to prove that you're not going to...
you're not in our league.
To do that. Yeah, you're not.
You're not up to the fucking snuff to be in the ACC. You're going to get your shit rolled in by us. And that was great because that was all I wanted to see.
Now you get to see it again because they're not going to beat Alabama.
That's what I can't wait to see is the Alabama Notre Dame rematch, the Manti Te'o's missing girlfriend matchup part 2.
The dead fake girlfriend.
Right, dead fake girlfriend.
Yeah,
the
dead fake girl. The Barstool shirts, Dave. Dead fake girlfriend. Or play like your dead fake girlfriend died today.
So we will have to wait and see on that one. But I'm excited nonetheless. Yeah. But I think it makes a statement. If Justin Fields can have a phenomenal outing, if he can have a 3-touchdown, 300-yard outing, keep it clean, no mistakes. And again, we don't know the thumb health.
Yeah,
this is all very important. So if his thumb's bad, then obviously you're going to make an asterisk for the situation, but it ain't going to help his draft stock. That just cements it to me that I would take Wilson over him at this point. Yeah. I'm already on that edge where I'm I think Wilson might have more upside than Fields does. I know I like Fields as a prospect, as a quarterback for the future, but I like Zach Wilson, what he's done this season, his charisma, his attitude on the field, and the effort to go get it when he has to. It's there, and it's very clear to me. I like watching that game. Fields, I don't know, man. It feels like he has to show up and show out in this game or else.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that I look at too is, yet again, I look back to that 2018 class. Take Trevor Lawrence, put him out because he's like the Andrew Luck, where it's you're not passing him a number 1. He's a prospect we only see once out of X number of years.
10 years. I'd say once a decade prospect.
How long has it been since Andrew Luck was drafted? Has it been 10
About
years?
8 years.
Shit, close, yeah. Once every 10 years.
And then before that, it was, Peyton Manning was 10 years before that. So, yeah.
Troy, John Elway was before, he was before Peyton Manning. So was Troy Aikman, who I was going to say. So, yeah, you're right.
Aikman was 88. That's not bad. I mean, 88 to 2000,
Yeah.
It's somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
It's not a hard rule of 10 years or else.
No,
Okay?
I mean, you're right, though.
Great.
Like, it's once every, 8 or 10 years? Like, it's a long time.
Once a decade quarterback. Yeah.
Generational talents is, I believe, what they call them.
Well, that's lazy.
I look at Zach Wilson, and I see, like I've mentioned before, I see a lot of Josh Allen in him, to where it's like, I look at what Josh Allen is doing right now. Competitive young quarterback, can throw the fucking deep ball with accuracy. If I'm a team, I'm looking and I'm going, hey, look what the Bills are able to do with a quarterback that can stretch the field and throw the deep ball. Like, we're talking about Tua in every Sunday, and what's Tua's biggest problem? He doesn't want to throw the ball down the field.
You're right. He doesn't want to. It's not a can't.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to make a mistake.
Like, you look at all the top teams in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes can sling the deep ball. Big Ben can kind of sling the deep ball. Like, he used to.
He absolutely can.
Be able to do it. Like, he was better when he was younger, but he still can. Josh Allen can sling the deep ball. Aaron Rodgers can sling the deep ball.
Josh Allen got all the fucking shit in the world because his deep ball numbers were horrible to start his career. Guess what? He didn't have a fucking weapon. They got him a weapon. Stephon Diggs goes out there, and now he's the best deep ball thrower in the game.
So,
wow, what a shocker.
I mean, like, Aaron...
You gotta have the weapons around. You can't just expect the quarterback to do all the work. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, don't set up Zach Wilson for, like, oh, this guy will carry a franchise. Like, you gotta give him some weapons to work.
Yeah, I mean, like, Patrick Mahomes has... Tyreek Evans out there.
And Travis Kelce.
Pass catcher.
Catching tight end in the NFL.
Big Ben has Juju, but with AB, he was slinging that deep ball a little bit better than Juju lately.
Deontay Johnson out there, Maple Tree, you know, he spreads it around.
Maple Tree. Aaron Rodgers is the only one of, like, he's got Devonta Adams, but...
Maple Tree Hotel Tree.
I was gonna let you roll with it. I was like, okay, we'll call him Maple Tree now. Aaron Rodgers has Devonta Adams, and then everyone else. Russell Wilson has DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett out there. He's got two of them. Drew Brees, would you say Drew Brees can sling the deep ball?
No, clearly Drew Brees can no longer sling the deep ball.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I know he's got Michael Thomas out there.
If you give him week 1 through 5, sure.
Okay.
But anywhere after week 5, that man's arm is a noodle. Got a noodle arm out there. He can't sling the deep ball.
Yeah, but, like, I look at it and I go, Zach Wilson is everything you want in a quarterback. Will he pan out?
Depends where he lands. Depends on the coach. Look at Sam Darnold.
Good point.
What's he supposed to do there?
Good point.
I mean, tell me
when Jamison Crowder has been decent for them. He's done good some fantasy weeks, but when he's your number one pass catching target, like, what are you supposed to do?
Joe Burrow's out there. The man got massacred in half a season.
Yeah, I mean, and that's even with T. Higgins out there, who did really good this year.
Got no offensive line though.
Yeah, which they got to get that. But yeah, he died. It's going to be interesting to see how these quarterback rankings go. And, like, the question we may ask in the future, Dave, that you kind of hinted to. Every single year, there's one player that falls. Like, I think back, the Laramie Tuntles, the Geno Smiths, his was a little different. There was even controversy around Josh Allen on draft night because of a tweet that he tweeted out in high school. That magically surfaced the day of the draft for some reason. Mitch Trubisky.
Great tweet.
I'm trying to think. Like, Geno Smith fell. Brady Quinn, I think, also fell.
Brady Quinn fell.
Did Johnny Manziel fell too, right? He was not one that was top.
He was in the late 20s.
Yeah. So, like, maybe we're asking in about a month or two, hey, is Justin Fields going to be that guy?
Yeah, I mean, like, in my mind, he's either 2 or 3. I don't think Trey Lance, out of nowhere, is going to jump back in the conversation all of a sudden. Yeah. Even though he should, because of his workouts with teams and his interviews. Like,
Kuiper has him at 22. Trey Lance.
Where's he got Trask at?
So he's got Trey Lance at 22. He's got Trask all the way at. He's got Mac Jones at 31.
Wow.
Does he not have Trask in his top 32? I don't think he has Trask in his top 32, unless I missed him.
See, that's surprising that Trask didn't make his top 32. But Mac Jones did, and Trey Lance. Yeah, I'm sorry. Trey Lance should work his way up if he gets workouts with these teams, which he should be able to do. Like I know the whole COVID protocol and everything with travel and everything, but like
Yeah.
that should be doable. You should get workouts with teams. So
Hmm.
I expect to see his status clarify a little bit more. He might pick up a little momentum. Trask is someone who's got the numbers that
Yeah.
just jump off the page at you. You're like,
Yeah.
how is this guy not going to succeed at the next level?
I
Mac Jones surprised me because he's the one who he's a late riser in this draft.
He's the one, the thing, and I'm going to read Kyler Murray, MVP. I'm going to read your comment in a second because I like it. The Mac Jones, the thing I love about him is they said that a lot of defenses in college or analysts are calling him like, oh, he's just a game manager. And his other offensive teammates have like taken a chip on their shoulder and been pissed. Like, he's not a game manager. What are you talking about? And when they asked him about it, he's like, all right, if you want to call me a game manager, I'm a game manager. He goes, I'll dink and dunk 9-yard passes to a win. If that's what I got to do, I'll do it. I was like, I fucking love that.
Max, lean in.
Like, I love it.
All downfield to win games. Mm-hmm. Why should I?
Yeah, I mean, when you got a defense like Alabama. No, he can't. I almost brought him up. I'm like, do you consider him as a deep ball threat anymore? It's like, no, you don't. But like Kyler Murray MVP says, Justin Fields is 4th. Lawrence Wilson, Lance Fields. Teams will fall. I do feel like he's true. Teams might fall in love with Lance at the combine. Like, that's the thing with Trey Lance. He's gotten fucked by COVID. He only played one game this year, and it was a bad game. Like, when I watched his film, I watched the newest game first, and after watching that, I went, fuck, he throws off his back foot a lot. And like, I'm like, I don't even think he's a good quarterback. Right. And then I watched all his other games. I was like, oh no, he's pretty good.
Yeah. If you only watch his game from this year, you'd be like, this kid's like a 4th rounder.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I can see there's athletic upside to him, but like, doesn't look like he's got it all together yet.
He's throwing way too much off the back foot in that game. Like a lot of like back foot floaters that were just really bad. So like, I do agree. Lance could rise because of the combine. And then who knows? Trask and Jones may like. The other one I just want to throw out there is I'm interested with his Rashad Bateman at 10 because he's a guy in mock drafts that I've seen like late teens to early 20s, like playoff range. So like if he's a wide receiver that jumps up,
like what? I guess what's Mel's take on him? Why is he jumping so hard?
Todd McShay says he opted out and then opted back in. Compiled 36 catches for 472 yards and 2 touchdowns. He'll work the middle of the field, uncovers quickly, and then has soft hands to haul in the pass. He's a crafty route runner, and while his speed isn't game-breaking, kid from Purdue that I'm blanking on his name, Rondell Moore, he's the speedster, isn't game-breaking. He will make an impact thanks to versatility, ability to gain separation, and terrific ball skills. But yet again, I think for the wide receivers, Jalen Waddle will be one that rises at the combine if his injury checks out.
Right.
If his injury check, like Jake has said numerous times, if he didn't get injured, he's the number 1 receiver in this draft, like above Jamar Chase. But we're gonna put a pin in that one. We'll talk about more draft coverage as the year goes on. Dave, we are going to move on. I forgot to preload them. I guess I can preload them as we're talking, but we're going to move on into Wet Boys, the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our players of the day from the game prior. How it works is Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids also give a wet boy. Also, Dave, I'm going to let you start as you always do. Who is your wet boy for December 30th, 2020?
I had to go with somebody who just made history yesterday. I mean, it was a big achievement that TNT didn't even feel like airing. The Milwaukee Bucks broke the league record for threes made in a single game with 29, breaking the record set by the Houston Rockets, I think a year or two ago. So Drew Holiday, welcome to the team. Congrats on your name being etched in the record books. Fantastic game from him all around. He is the multi-purpose tool they needed. He does everything for them. He scores, he facilitates, he defends like a motherfucker out there. Like, he's just the total package. This Bucks team blew out the Miami Astros. No Jimmy Butler, but it was still a very ugly game. And like I said, TNT literally cut away from that game to watch Steph shoot warm-up threes.
Gotta show the Warriors, Dave. Gotta show the Warriors.
Taking a chance at history here. Like, it was very clear they were on their way to breaking a record, and they're like, we'd rather watch Steph shoot warm-up three.
Gotta show the Warriors, Dave. Warriors, they sell tickets. I mean, they're a global brand, Dave. Gotta show the Warriors.
They are a global brand, but still, that was kind of embarrassing.
So I'm going a little. Actually, you know what? We're gonna switch it up. Let's do the patron one first, because I'm giving a dry dude today. We'll leave my dry dude to the end. And for the patron wet boy, Dave, I wanted to ask you. It's an NBA player. Who do you think the patrons voted if you had to take a wild guess?
Jokic.
Not Jokic. Close, though. He is a 4-5, more of a 4.
MPJ?
First time this team will be getting a wet boy since we have started MVP Sports Live.
First time the team.
First player from this team, because they are a bad team, didn't play in the bubble.
Julius Randle is
the wet boy. He had a trip dub in the game. The only thing that when I was talking with Soapy about it, he was like, please don't include the 9 turnovers.
Yes, he was this close to a quad double.
Does that count? Do turnovers count for a quad double?
They should. The phrase was a quadruple struggle.
The quadruple struggle. Jesus.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook had famously had one of those before.
Yeah.
Maybe twice actually, but still, yeah, hell of a game by Julius Randle. Basically just, I mean, the man did everything, and the shocking thing to me is the assist count.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here, he's not much of a facilitator. The ball hits his hands. He wants to spin and score. He's not looking to facilitate most times, so I want to give him credit. He's making some progress. Who knows? Maybe that coaching over there by Coach Tibbs is helping out. Maybe a little bit of new offense going over there. I know Tom's not exactly known for his offense, so kudos to whatever assistant coach they've brought in to help that.
Not Dave Fizdale, that's the thing.
Not Dave Fizdale's the important thing.
Yeah. Eric even says former Laker draft pick, Julius Randle.
Yeah. The Lakers have been thriving. D'Angelo Russell, thriving. Julius Randle, thriving. Brandon Ingram, thriving. Josh Hart, even thriving. Lonzo Ball, thriving. Thomas Bryant, thriving. Isaac Bonga, thriving. Thomas Bryant, if I already said that, thriving. Every single one of those players who they picked over the last couple of years is actually playing pretty well. Even Kuz, I want to give credit to the Lakers. Jordan Clarkson, thriving.
It's just some of the players. It was like, oh well, our situation isn't going to be where they thrive.
Timeline, baby.
Well, when LeBron
all the
comes
trades
in,
are worth it. You got your ship. You might get a second one this year. Who knows? But it is kind of cool to look back and be like, wow, they actually did a really good job drafting. It just didn't fit the timeline for the team.
Which you say, the thing you said, you got your ship, you might get a second one. Did you see the tweet I put in the NBA chat today about Kevin Durant?
No.
The Shams tweeted out that he's sitting out the next game because of rest or whatever. And it's basically last dude you want to see when you're coming off a torn Achilles. It's a picture of Grayson Allen.
Oh, that was so good. And yeah.
It's like KD saying, get me away from the tripster when I've got a torn Achilles. But Dave, I'm going with a dry dude today. And this might be seen as a petty dry dude, but it's from the college ranks. I got to give it to Bryson Gresham. And the reason why is, first, the stat line alone is not indicative of a good game. He played 20-some minutes in that game. Here's the big storyline with Gresham here. Houston Cougars, end of the game, seconds remaining. Cougars hanging on to a 1-point lead, 64-63. Tulsa guard drives in, layup. Gresham fouls him. Tulsa hits 2 at the line to win the game, 65-64. Coach has got to be screaming at him, Dave, you can't foul him. You can't foul him. Draws the foul in the most crucial, that's the time. If it was like floater over you, all right, Dave, I can live with that. You can't foul him. I don't care if he's driving in. You can't foul him.
Give him a freebie.
Hit the 2 shot. I mean, maybe I should have gave the wet boy to the player from Tulsa with the stones to hit 2 of them. In that timeline, but I saw that, and it was either Joel, I think it's Joel Ayayi from Gonzaga, had a phenomenal game in a blowout against Dixie State. Because you know how good Dixie State is, Dave.
They're legit. Some respect on the Dixie State.
Whatever they are. I don't even know what they are. I think it's like a cat or something. But I mean, yeah, I had to give a dry dude today. I usually don't like doing the dry dudes. I like to keep it positive. But I saw that and I'm like, I got to do it. I got to give the dry dude. So those are our Wet Boys for today. Let us know what you guys think. If you want to vote on Wet Boys, patreon.com/MVP-vids. Become a silver and above supporter, and you can get in on that. But Dave, let's move on in the NBA. First thing we are talking about is Zach Collins having surgery yet again. He's a guy who has played 60-some games his first year, 77 his second year, played 11 games last year, will not play a single game this year, has not played a game this year, and probably will miss the remainder of this season. Question I wanted to ask with this is not the usual, how will this affect the Blazers season? I want to go with what you threw out when you joined the call when it was me and Soapy just sitting here shooting the shit. Zach Collins has a potential qualifying offer at the end of this year. If you're the Blazers, do you even offer him the qualifying offer? Like, is this gonna how is this gonna affect Zach Collins' future with the Blazers?
I don't think you give up on the kid. He's been making progress. I mean, unlucky for the last 2 years. No doubt in my mind, he has not had a great, obviously last season pre-bubble hurt, and then he came back for a couple games, then gone again for the bubble. So like that, very unfortunate timing. Just snake bitten, and then to start the season, literally just done off the bat like that. So basically 2 years of not playing basketball out of your rookie deal. It's tough. And especially someone who came in the league with like, this guy was the raw prospect on that team who like, it was like, we basically have to teach him to play basketball because right now, like he can do two things well, but outside of that, his game was not there. It was very much like limited purpose kind of a player. So I think it's going to be rough for him. Because we'd all seen it as like, this is his jumping off point. Last season, the averages had improved, even though in his short sample size, he still looked like, hey, this guy's going to be able to contribute. And if we got a legit 4, we got a legit 5, we got guys who can go on at both guard positions. Like this is a loaded team this year. It's a big hit for the Portland Trailblazers. I'm excited because Harry Giles might get more minutes because Zach Collins is not there. So that's good news for me. But I think that you're still going to offer him the qualifying offer out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you don't go for an extension. I think that's the situation is like, I know a lot of these guys are already thinking extensions in their minds.
Yeah.
Get that 4-year 70, 4-year 60 bag. I don't think Zach Collins is worth that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's proven that yet. So I think you do have to just put out like that offer out there. Float something.
Correct me if I'm wrong. How the qualifying offer in the NBA works is the qualifying offer that the Blazers could throw out is it's a $7.3 million deal, round up 7.4. And the cap hold would be about a 13.5 cap hit for the Blazers. Now, the qualifying offer, if Zach Collins doesn't sign it, he's basically treated like an RFA, right? Like a team could offer at him, and then the Trailblazers would either match or not, right?
Correct.
And that's all. If Zach Collins is like, no, I don't want this qualifying offer. Which I'm not saying that would happen, but who knows?
Right? It's only 7 mil.
7.3. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, literally on 12/19, there was an article that came out about Portland Trailblazers will not negotiate contract extension with Zach Collins. So they were basically saying, hey, 4th year, he will become a restricted free agent at the end of the season. They had the opportunity to extend him already. They chose not to. Yeah. And they want to see how the season played out. So I think that this turns into a I don't know. Does it turn into a prove it contract, like a 1-1, a 2-1?
I was gonna say, does this turn into, because by saying they weren't going to extend him at the end of this year, they can still offer him the qualifying offer, right?
Right, he's still a restricted free agent. He's just not getting an extension because they would have had to do a long-term extension before this season.
Good point. My thought is, does this turn into a Lowry Markkanen situation of, hey, we'll offer you the qualifying offer. Zach Collins will probably take it because what other team is going to offer him a contract coming off of a, I didn't say the exact injury. It is a left ankle stress fracture. Is what the surgery is. And, like, not the biggest of injuries, but like,
no, but it's a big injury for a big.
Yeah, for a big as well. You're right. Like, would it be a Lauri Markkanen situation of, hey, here's a qualifying offer. No one's going to offer you a contract, so you're probably going to take this. And then it's just like, all right, I got 1 year to prove it. 1 year to prove that I can stay healthy, because Lauri Markkanen's kind of the same thing. Yeah, his was different because he actually got to the table of, hey, I want 20 mil, and the Bulls said no. But there's a part of it that Lauri Markkanen's had been bitten by the injury bug a little bit, but just not on the
Lauri
same
was
case.
Same thing. This was Zach literally had surgery on his left ankle in August. Oh wait, is this? Yeah, this is the second surgery on that ankle in a couple of months. Like that's where it's like,
for a big, like, that's troublesome.
It's huge. It's huge. So I like Zach Collins. I don't think he's worth, he might get like a 2-1, or he might just it might just be the qualifying offer of the 1 year, and we'll play it out and we'll see what happens kind of deal. Like, I'm more in favor of, hey, see if he'll sign a 2-1 with the team option at the end. Do a 3-year, $40 million kind of deal. Like, he's worth,
because they can go over the cap to keep him.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Like, they are already going to be there. So it's like, you want to keep somebody with upside. So, like, I think 340 is probably fair with his injury history. He's only had 2 full seasons to play. They might be able to get him for 330. Like, it might be a 10 mil. The 10 mil just seems too cheap for someone with his upside still. So that's why I think 340 is reasonable. Even with the injury going on, like, that might be fair. But we'll see. I mean, another team could go ahead and just fuck it up and be like, hey, we want a big man who has the upside of Zach. Let's go ahead and offer him a 4-year, 4-year 50 or something like that.
Like, I would say, I'm not saying this team for sure, but it just feels like a thing like the Magic would do. Like they kind of did by trading to. I'm just saying, like, hey, let's get him on here. Our timeline's not exactly, we can, like a Markelle Fultz thing where I know that was more of a trade, but like hey, let's bring him in kind of a thing.
The Thunder have the cap room to fuck with anybody. Yeah, they can make deals and they can flip things. I mean, that's the one I'm like, if there's one team in the NBA who has the cap to do something with it, it's Thunder. So I'd see them doing it. There's a couple of teams who can take shots and try to fuck up, the Blazers by, whatever there. But yeah, I'm not done with him. I think the Blazers shouldn't be done with him. I like his upside still, but he has got to string together somewhat of a season next year. Like, if he misses fucking 10 games next season, like, you just cut ties. Like, dude, I'm sorry, you are the unlucky. You're not Gordon Hayward unlucky, but you're pretty fucking unlucky.
Because the contracts that'll be up at the end of the year, Zach Collins RFA, Enes Kanter and Harry Giles are both UFAs. Melo's a UFA. Gary Trent's going to be the big RFA to try to keep him. Maybe a team offers a contract at him.
He was slaying it out there.
And then Derek Jones has a player op, and Rodney Hood's contract next year is not guaranteed. So they can move on from Rodney Hood if they want to. Last thing I'll ask that we haven't hit is, does this affect the Blazers season a lot or a little? Because I don't think it's not enough.
I think it's a little.
Okay.
I think it's a little. I think they have to expect Harry to stay healthy and to foul less. I think that he will be the big guy who has to step up here. I've been a huge upside guy on him for years now, literally since his high school playing time. Watch him, suffer through injury after injury. Disappointing year of college where he's still literally rehabbing. Like, I'm excited to see him with more playing time, because obviously they do have Kanter out there, but like,
Kanter's been he's doing well though.
He's doing well.
3 games.
Yep.
Averaging 22 minutes a night too.
I'm just hoping that we get to see a little bit more of my boy Harry out there.
Dave's like, I want to see Harry yam it down. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, like, they got wing depth. It's just that second big. That was always a concern. Zach could stretch the floor and play really good defense. Harry might be able to at least play the defense. His floor stretching, maybe mid range, maybe, but like, you can't really shoot a bunch of threes. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I mean, the Blazers are still a very strong team in the West, which is already ridiculously stacked.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll talk about another team in the West in a little bit, but let's kind of move into the East for a little bit. The Toronto Raptors, Dave, has not been a season to remember on a start for the Raptors, where they have played the Pelicans and lost. They have played the Spurs and lost. Last night they played the 76ers and lost, even after Joel Embiid left the game with an injury and then came back with said injury.
What doesn't help when C-Scam decides to commit 5 fouls in about 6 minutes to end the game? Like, what the shit was that string?
I was going to ask you, if you were a Toronto Raptor fan, 0, 5, 10, like not even in between, just any of those, a lot, a little, none at all, how worried are you after 3 games of this season?
Probably like a 4.
Okay.
Probably maybe even a 5. Like, look, positive takeaways. OG Anunoby had a good game offensively. We saw him string together something last game. Like, he popped off early. The problem was it felt like they didn't continue to feed him. I feel like the momentum of the offense sometimes gets lost out there. So without, having stability on their offense, you see dips as far as their scoring is concerned. Again, I mentioned Pascal and the string of fouls he committed there, which was just like watching it happen was just kind of like, the first one happened, it was like, yeah, normal foul. But like the next one, and then he fouls out, and you're like, what's going on. Like, he's just frustrated. He got into his own head. Yeah. It was like a string of dumb that got dumber. Dumb and dumber. But
I'm on the other side. I'm worried. I'm above a 5.
You're real worried?
I'm not at a 10, but like maybe at a 6. And like, yet again, 3 games. We've said it's early season, so you got to keep telling yourself that.
But like, overreact, baby.
The thing that worries me is you played 3 playoff teams, potential playoff teams, where the Pelicans are in the race. The Spurs will probably be out of it, but hell, they'll probably even be in the race. Right now,
DeMar DeRozan's playing some inspired fucking basketball, boys.
And then
Let's get on this.
The 76ers, who could be one of the top 4 teams in the East, but it'll probably be maybe 5 or 6 at the lowest. I'm worried because their schedule doesn't get any easier. Like, the next game, if you lose the next game, hit the fucking panic button, you're at a 10. If you lose to the Knicks and let Julius Randle get a trip dub on you, hit the panic button.
Cycles.
Like, the Knicks should be a winnable game, but like after that, the Pelicans again, who could be tough. The Celtics, who could be tough. The Suns are a tough team. Sacramento's playing well. And then it's Golden State, which that one, with how Golden State's been playing right now, if the Bulls could almost beat the Warriors, the Raptors should be
the game we almost beat.
The game we almost beat the Warriors. Like, and even after that, Portland, but then you got 2 Charlotte, and then after that, it's Dallas, Miami, Indiana, Milwaukee. The problem with this season too, which we didn't hit yesterday a lot, with these teams is I feel like the teams that catch fire now, it's going to be way more advantageous for them this year than it would if we had a full 82-game season.
Well, you lopped off 10 games from the season, so every game counts kind of meaning,
Yeah, it's like how many of these teams that we expected to start hot that are slow. Washington is also in there. We thought Bradley Beal would, like, if anyone said Bradley Beal and Russ would be 0-4 to start the season,
did not see that coming.
I'd be like, oh, maybe 2-2 at the worst. Like, how many of these teams that don't have a win yet are going to be like, hey, eventually, when does it start to be a panic-some thing? Because, like you said, we lopped 10 games off the season.
Yeah. I mean, the playoff race is going to literally come down to one game, like as far as like to make it in. And I think the difference between a lot of those positions is going to be one game. So this is not one of those years where like, oh, it was a bad loss in November, December, whatever, just shake it off. I think it's like, this is still, okay, I'm going to get into the meat and bones. This is still the conversation we ended last season with.
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam is not number 1.
Yep.
I'll say it. I'll say it again.
I was going to say, how the season ended last year, you were talking about dumb mistake after dumb mistake after dumb mistake.
Last night.
Is that still in his head? Like, did how last season ended, since there was basically no offseason, it was the shortest offseason probably for the Raptors in X amount of years because they made it to the playoffs and were in the playoffs, that it was kind of like
the year before it was the better year because they made the finals and won the finals.
Well,
but,
but it was like an actual regular offseason. Like this one, if you made the playoffs, you didn't get a regular offseason length to where usually guys for some part of it are like, I got to get away. This offseason was basically like for some of the playoff teams, all right, I got to go right back to the gym because the season's starting in December. Like, was there no way for Siakam basically to be like, I got to get away for a bit so I can get this out of my head? And this is just compounding off of how last season ended.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is a little tougher for them, though, but it's not like they lost in like a tragic fashion or anything. It wasn't, the 4 bounces of doom.
Yeah, it was just they expected him to be the guy who's not. Yeah. 4 bounces of doom.
But I do think that, like, again, we've all been heaping this praise onto this team who has great player development, and we want to elevate, OG, Pascal, Fred, and even like Norm Powell, Terrence Davis, like those kind of guys. Hey, they've done Chris Boucher, like Boucher. I refuse to pronounce his name correctly once. Rick Bucher out there for the Toronto Raptors.
God, someone in the Discord said this is a fantasy thing that they hope that the Raptors would play Chris Boucher more.
I mean, they should. They really should. Stanley Johnson shouldn't get minutes. I agreed with them on that one.
Yeah,
he's a rehab project.
That's what it was. It was over Stan John.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Yeah, they don't play the same position, so that's kind of a dumb comment, though.
Yeah,
but is what it is. Point is, love their player development. Fred VanVleet looks decent. Everybody's looking okay, but it's just dumb mistakes, turnovers, and I think it's just Pascal Siakam. Like, he's getting a lot of run, but it doesn't seem to be translating. I want, we all thought he was going to be basically where he left off being the solo guy when Kawhi was off the court. He was putting up like 23 a night, like 23, I think 7 and 4 or 7-3, some shit like that. Might have more rebounds even. I'm not looking at stats right now because, looking at stats means you don't watch the game, as we all know.
Oh, dude, you can't look at stats at all. Can't look at stats at all.
But the problem is that, like, they're not good enough to win when they don't have someone to rely on. Like, they're overall a very well-balanced team, but they lost massive amounts of defense without Gasol, without Ibaka out there. Yeah. They didn't recover. They added Baines. He isn't anywhere near the caliber of defender that Ibaka or Gasol is.
Maybe
he doesn't move the offense the same way that that Gasol can, where we see Gasol being able to facilitate out of the post well, run the offense, call plays and sets, trailing threes, very big part of the game. Baines can at least do that. I love Baines for the trailing three, but like, there's a lot of things that they have to adjust to because they lost big man depth and leadership on this team. Kyle Lowry's still the leader of this team. He's still the man, but they need help from other guys, and they have not had those young kids step up yet. And that's the problem. I think they're not in trouble of losing out on a playoff spot, but I think they're in trouble of losing out on, again, home field doesn't really matter because they're playing in Tampa Bay.
Well, I mean, not even that.
It's
just
still the travel.
Yeah, having a higher seed of, like, for example, like, I know that home court for the Raptors might not make the most sense because they're playing in Tampa, but it's still the sense of, yet again, in the playoffs, we don't know if, like, how the league is, from what I heard last, the league is hoping that enough vaccines are out there that by playoff time, we could have fans in seats.
There's
4 games. There is a chance, but like, we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, especially in Florida. They don't care if it's lambs to the slaughter or anything like that. God, even aside, even McAfee was like, should we move to Texas so that we can go out and like do stuff and not be here in Indiana?
The Bills are allowing fans in for their playoff game.
They are.
I think just shy of like 10,000, I think, for the
NFL's got to make that money somehow, right?
Yep.
Like, that's the thing where by playoff time, the only thing, like, home court might not matter for the Raptors being at home because they're not at home. But at the same time, if you have a 7-game series and 4 of them are not in Boston, might be a good thing. Where only 3 of them are away. If there's fans actually in seats by the playoffs, but we don't know. Last team we'll dive into, the Kangs, baby. The Kangs have started off, started off good. They've beaten the Nuggets twice and then have split with the Suns. 2 teams we have as playoff teams.
Do you want to know why?
De'Aaron Fox.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay, Tyrese Halliburton.
They took Halliburton, who I had been preaching the entire time. This is the safest fucking pick in the draft. This guy will come in the league, shoot above average, defend above average, facilitate above average. He'll do everything for you. Yes, he's not going to put up 30 a night, but that's not his game. But he makes everyone around him better.
So far in 4 games, Dave, he is shooting 56% from the field, 50% from 3, 100% from the line.
There you go.
And he's averaging 10.5, 2, 5, 5, or 10.5, 2, and 5, with about half a steal and or half a block and almost a steal a game.
And how many turnovers does he have?
0.8. Not even he's not even averaging 1 per game.
I believe he has 1 turnover this season.
3.
3. It must have gotten 2 the other night. Yeah.
He's got 42 points, 8 rebounds, 21 assists, and then 3
21
turnovers.
So a 7-to-1 turnover or assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking good. Some would say.
That's really fucking.
Some would say that's good.
Like Eric says, Fox and Hallie are nasty.
Yeah, that's the future. That's the future of this team. Buddy Hield is great and all.
He's playing well,
knocking down buckets, but Halliburton's just got arms that are go gadget-esque. Where if you think you're going into the lane when he's off ball, he's like, I'm just reaching there and grab that real quick. Just whoop. He has great instincts. I love this kid on this team. Bagley's showing up, which is a surprise of the year, I think.
almost 14 points a game. Almost 8 boards a game. Right? Yeah.
He sunk some threes. He looked a little mobile out there, Offensively, he's still Marvin Bagley. Defensively, unfortunately, he is still Marvin Bagley.
Last night's game, he went 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, 4 of 5 from the line, 2 boards, 1 assist, a steal, and then 18 points.
Yeah, I mean, he is old Jaleel Okafor. Kind of like the offense is there, the defense, you pray to God will come at some point. But he's moving his game along, and I'm happy to see him play. I want to see him healthy for a whole year and see what he can do. I like this game. We like the Kings rebuild.
Yeah.
We hated when they brought in a bunch of veterans for no fucking reason. They tried to do what the Hawks did this year, a year too early, though. They were not ready, and they had a terrible coach. So that compounded the problem.
I want to change what Eric said. Eric says Halliburton made Walton's job easier.
Yeah,
I want to change it to Halliburton might just save Walton's his job. Yeah, that's what it might be. Halliburton might save him his job because the replacement, the interim's already on the bench. Alvin Gentry's just sitting there like, hey, I know why I'm here. I'm going to help you out, but once they choose to fire you, I'm the interim. That's why I'm here.
And low-key, MVP of the team is Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, he's been playing.
It's no
really
love.
Good. Yeah,
he does everything for them, and he is the quietest player in the team. He just goes out there, does his job, knocks down shots, gets boards, facilitates, steals, defends the best wing defender.
I love it.
Wing on the other team.
I love
He's one of my favorite players who he used to be Brick City on Golden State. That man literally cost them a championship.
I feel
because
like ever since that last year in Golden State, because he went to Dallas before Sacramento, right?
Correct. He got paid.
That's right.
He got the guy in Dallas.
I feel like ever since that last season, it's just been rag on Harrison Barnes, and it's good that he's
a good player. Well. He's a good player, and that's the frustrating thing. He can be a 20-point a game scorer. Yeah. He can be a 10-point a game scorer. Whatever you need him to be, he can be. He's not a 25. There's a cap on the top end where it's he's not a superstar, but his efficiency is good enough to compete with anybody out there. So I love the team. I think they've got a great couple pieces. Even Rashawn Holmes out there looks good, who low-key last year got a lot of love from me. Ricky discredits him. Ricky was like, they need to go get a real center. I'm like, but what about Rashawn Holmes? And is he really though? He's like really a backup center, right? And I was like, no, he's actually a good center. He's got energy, he's got hype.
Here's the thing I love, Dave, too. We're talking about in the Raptors segment about how every game early in the season's important. Yeah. This team in their next 5 could be what? In their next 5 could be 8-1 to start the season. 8-1, 7-2. They got the Rockets twice in what I learned the NBA is calling series when you play the Bulls have a series against the Wizards. They play a game on Tuesday, a game on Thursday, both in Washington.
I like that.
They're calling it a series. So they have a series against Houston in Houston, Might split that one. That's what I'm saying. They might split that one. Golden State should be a win if they keep playing like they are. Fucking Bulls could be a win if they keep playing like they are because it's in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And then Toronto could be a win if they keep playing like they are. Like,
yeah, no, that's
this team
true.
could be 7 or 8 wins.
This could be the hottest start to their season, and I don't know how long. Sacramento fans have to tell us.
Which is important because after January 9th,
Murderers Row,
Portland, Indy, Portland, Clippers, Pelicans, Clippers, the Knicks, Grizzlies, the Magic. And then they're like, the Knicks and the Magic are in there. Magic might be a tough one, though.
Magic are the top team in the NBA right now. What are we talking about, Ricky?
Yeah, but I mean, the Knicks are thrown in there, but it's like playoff,
yeah.
Knicks, playoff.
To be fair, there are 20 teams in the playoffs this year, so let's cool on the fucking elitism.
No, I'm talking about top 8.
I know. That's 16. That's more than half the league.
Good point. But I mean, that's usual. That's always 16.
I'm just saying, in context, it is.
Speaking a little bit off the NBA before we wrap up, like I actually have final thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I saw on ESPN today? That 2 things I saw on ESPN for college basketball that completely, I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Number 1 is they did a mock draft day for the NBA. Do you want to know what year they did a mock draft for?
What year?
2022, and what breakout stars we could have. Yeah, the Chet Holmgren year. What breakout stars we can have. I'm like, guys, we haven't even gotten to 2021 yet. Like, disrespect on the kids you're seeing now.
I'm so excited to be watching the 2021 kids because we've had to watch the 2020 kids for the longest time with the least amount of tape. Yeah. That shit got old.
Yeah,
I'm excited for watching this new group. But I have to say,
jumped.
I have to say, you gotta admit the kids from 2020
they're gonna be good too.
Maybe they got a little maybe they got too much hate. No, I'm saying the guys who got drafted this year maybe got too much hate for the whole this is a no star class. Yeah, we got a fuck ton of great role players.
Yeah, we do.
Like literally, you could build a team out of these role players.
Yeah,
they are quality. So I'm loving that around the league. I think we do a segment on the
the rooks.
The rookies, 10 games in or something, we'll do a show to them.
A top 10 ranking, because we know how we love to do top 10s.
Everyone loves top 10 rankings. Everyone loves top 10 rankings.
Ricky put Zach LaVine at 10 for his top 10 NBA players. I love Zach.
Not again.
Soapy tried to bait me into giving Zach a wet boy today, too. He was like, Zach had a good game. I'm like, yeah, he had a good game, but it's like, it wasn't anything special. And the other thing is, they're like, it was an article that said, oh, it won't happen. But by the way, here's what an 82 team NCAA tournament would look like. 20 more teams, Dave, than what we already have.
You don't need it. NCAA tournament is perfect where it's at.
It's like, why
I hate
are we
the fact that they made it a
teams?
68 team already. I don't like the 68.
I think
that's dumb.
It makes the only thing I like about it is
the trash games to start the season.
Well, it's not trash. It's just
the
play. I rather see, because they kept the 2 16 versus 16 play-ins.
Yeah.
I don't want to see 2 16s go at each other because they're just going to lose that first game, except for UMBC. Put some respect on it. The Golden Retrievers. I'd rather see an 11 I'd rather see 2 teams that are 11 fight for an 11 seed than 2 teams that are 16th seeds that are most likely going to lose.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I'm cool with keeping it where it is. I don't want expansion.
Yeah, I don't
for
either.
that. I want expansion for college football.
Yeah. Final thoughts on the Kings before we wrap everything up?
Love the Kings, young team. Still don't know if Buddy's a long-term fit on that team. But they got some fun talent out there. Love Hallie, love Harrison. They got good guys. Fire your coach. Move to the backup coach. He did it for a reason. You'll be good. You'll be good. The thing is you mentioned the schedule.
Yeah.
Don't get too all up in yourselves after that first 9 games. It sounds like there's gonna be a rough patch following that.
Could be 8-1, and then holy shit,
we'll stabilize. Yeah. Okay, guys.
That's why it's the first 9 games very crucial, because if you go 9-1, you can lose some of those other games. Yeah, injuries are spooky too.
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. That's right.
Yeah, last year's meme on them.
The Timberwolves are gonna be bad this season.
Yep.
Caps on caps.
Can't do it.
But yeah, I can't. I hope the Kings get in. I'll be honest. Fuck it. I hope they get in. Get to see Hallie in the playoffs. Get to see De'Aaron Fox actually in the playoffs, because he's the one that I feel like, even in my sense, gets overlooked because he plays for the Kings.
100%.
That's just what I feel. But that's going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. Thank you guys for everything you do. Join the Discord, link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. Make sure to, if you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. Thank you to Pat Hill and Philly Sean, our Patreon producers. Link down below or exclamation Patreon into Twitch chat. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. And then we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Dave and I will be back tomorrow for Dave, the last show of 2020. Tomorrow's the last one. We say goodbye to 2020 tomorrow. I am actually tonight going to. I've been slacking on the Wet Boy card. Wet Boys tomorrow will be its actual segment because we are going to crown a Wet Boy of the Year tomorrow. Ooh. I feel like we have to. Or no. That's going to be on Friday because technically. I thought about this. Technically, the Thursday games count for 2020. So we would have to give a Wet Boy on Friday, and then Friday we will crown a Wet Boy for 2020.
I don't know.
Unless you want to say fuck the games that happen on Thursday, but I feel like...
fuck the games that happened. The year ended. The year ended.
The year ended. This is our last show. So fuck it. Maybe tomorrow we'll crown a Wet Boy for 2020. But that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys for doing everything you do, and as always... have a good day, everybody.